Hi all, myself Jay Vignesh. So let's reboot our work using UiPath. So in last video I was not able to cover variables, so due to the length. So let me cover it now. So introduction to variables. So variable, what mean by variable? I guess like everyone has some idea about variables. So variables, basically like variable, they hold the values or data in the variable. So in the variable in the sense, so for an example, x equal to 5 or like so str name equal to Jai Vignesh. So likewise, so variables which hold the values, so and help to move the values from one sequence to another sequence, so which will be this particular terms will be used in a UiPath Studio, so you can check on that. And data type, so what mean by data type? So each and every variable have its own data type. So for an example, you need to store an integer variable. So integer variable in the sense like numbers, so that will be used in an int. So if you're going to store an like characters, so name or something, so it will be used in a string. So likewise, so different type of data types will be used in the variables. So and then they can jump to the UiPath Studio. We can start exploring about variables and we can do some exercise in a variable. Let me jump to UiPath Studio. So already I have created a demo UiPath project. So let me double click on main XML. The very first step. So just click on activities and drag a sequence. So will which help us to draw our sequence, each and every sequence. So here I can rename it as in property panel. So we can rename it as variables. So we can take an assign activity. So how we'll be like declaring in C++. Likewise, the assign activity will help us to declare. So declaring a variable. So those are in a different ways actually. So you can declare here in click on to panel. You can click on Control K and then type your variable name over here. Okay. So let me start like in a professional way, so that will be helpful for us. So if you are going to use an integer variable, let me initialize int underscore the data type and then variable name x. So if some other developer is going to see your workflow, then he can easily find that. So you have used an integer data type variable and the variable name is x. So this will give a clear view. So if you are going to store an integer value, so 2, so we are getting error over here. So why? Because so by default, so once you are creating a variable, so it will be created in a string data type. So you can see here string data type. So you are going to place the number value, so you can change it as int. So soon after, if you are changing the variable type, so which is data type, your error has gone. So if you need to print your value in this particular studio, so you can drag and drop right line. So the right line is the activity which help us to view our output in your design area. Design area is nothing but in your UiPath Studio in output panel. So yeah, so once I get entered input text, so the variable which I declared, so I was getting error. I was wondering actually. So I have just changed the data type. Why it was? Because so right line activity will only take the values which is in string data type. So actually the int text is a integer data type. So you can convert it into string using dot to string. So the dot to string will help us to print the integer variable. So if you are going to use like string variable, you no need to use dot to string. So let us take another assign activity and then we can assign some names. So here like as of now we can declare in a different way. So click on variable panels, click on create variables. So as of now I was going to create a name. So str string name, close this. You can take the variable name here. So here you can see, so already which is created. So like you can create variables using like control K, or you can click on the variable panels, you can create a variable. So either way will work. See here. So if you're going to declare a string, so you're going to use double quotes. So yeah, that's it. So as you know already, so string name. So the like the variables which are created, so by default it will be a string data type, so you no need to change anything over here. So you have clicked the str name. So right line activity once again. So as I said before, if you are going to print your string variable, so no need to give dot to string. So as I said before, so it already it like right line is based upon like it will take only a string values. So if you are going to print a integer value, you have to use dot to string, else you no need. So let me try it. So we have created as of now, so we have created int x. So int x is nothing but integer x equal to 2. So to print it right line, so we have used int x dot to string. So to string is used to convert this integer value into string. Str name, so it's nothing but name. So I have used my name over here, so I have printed that name. So let us check so whether we are getting this desired output or not. Let me click on debug file. So here you can see your output has been printed. So what actually you are trying to do here, so you have initialized your int x value 2. So the 2 is printed, so which you have used in a right line, so it will be printed in your output panel. So what are, and then you have used your name as well, so your name also are got printed. So basically right line is used to print your values and check in your and like in your development environment. These are the two common ways you can declare your variable. So using like control key, or like you can go to the variable panel, you can create your variable. So based upon your variable, so you have to change your data type, so don't forget about that. So and then scope, so scope, so here you'll be using the scope. So why we need scope actually, so if you are going to design some values in a different sequence, so in during those times scope will be useful. So we can check in later videos, so like what are the use of scope and where we are going to use the scope and where we are going to change the scopes. I guess this will be fair enough for variable. Thanks for watching, do subscribe, and happy learning. Yeah.